Quick disclaimer, guys, if anyone's triggered by anything eating disorder related or anything food related, please click off this video as I don't want to trigger you guys. Anyways, if you stick around, I hope you enjoy. Peace.
Hi, my name's Curtis. I'm 19 and I've suffered with anorexia and bulimia for the last year. The purpose of me sharing this story is not for sympathy, not for attention. It's for me to try and break the stigma and spread awareness towards men and women struggling with eating disorders and the pain and the suffering that comes with not being able to share it. You know, the silence that comes with eating disorders. Anyways, this is my story. So about a year ago, I was diagnosed with OCD, and at the time I had already had depression and anxiety. I'd already suffered that through high school, and it was at the point now where I'd gone to therapy for a couple of years now, and the psychologist I was seeing was absolutely great, but it was kind of at that point in my life where I needed to step it up another level and keep moving on, and I just needed a crutch in my life that was a bit more stronger than just therapy. So I went on a certain SSRI, and it worked wonders for my anxiety and depression and my OCD. It worked, but a lot of those medications numb you and you don't necessarily feel emotion as much anymore. And up until this point in my life, weight had never been an issue. I was always a skinny kid, I've never been big, but I've always been a lean kid who's exercised a lot. I've done it all my life. I'm obsessed with it. I love it. It's the greatest thing for your mental health. I preach it. Everyone needs to exercise. And I started seeing weight gain in my face, and the media portrays, men as these, young, chiseled guys with the cheekbone, the jawline, like the great skin. And, this medication was causing me acne, weight gain, other underlying things that I don't want to bring up. But, it came with some trouble for me. And my OCD got the better of me, and I started to obsess over the fact that I was gaining weight, and I wanted to look like these people in the media, these real chiseled, this real edgy look. I wanted to achieve that, and I wasn't able. Sorry, this is really hard to talk about. You go on YouTube and I've never seen an eating disorder story from a male. I went through this morning, and I was really contemplating making this because this is a big thing for me and the whole community, I think. It's massive. Anyways, so go on this medication and it causes a lot of weight gain, and I get fixated on the fact that sorry, I find this really hard to talk about. Not many, there's actually no eating disorder stories from a male's perspective on YouTube. I scoured the web this morning, and there's only a handful of advocates. I can count them on my fingers on the whole of social media that support guys with eating disorders. And I just want to break this taboo, and I want everyone to know about it. It just needs to be done. That's why I'm sharing this. Anyways, so I go on this medication, I get all these side effects, start gaining weight, I get fixated on this image I chase, and on an image a lot of men chase but never talk about. Anyway, so I start counting calories, and I'm not going to say how many calories I ate because I don't want to trigger anyone, or how many calories I burned, but I started, eating a certain amount, which for me was not enough, because exercising twice a day. I'm 19, my body's developing, I need to nourish myself. And I'm doing the complete opposite. I'm malnourishing myself. I'm fatigued. And I start losing all this weight. And it's this, when you become fixated on weight loss or weight gain, when you see these gains, it gives you a rush. And I got this rush from when people would say, "Oh, you're so skinny." Like it didn't feed my ego, but it fed the eating disorder's ego. It fed what was powering me, and which was, you know, the thing that was actually killing me at the end of the day. And got to the point where, because at the time I was already seeing my psychologist, and I was really scared to bring it up with anyone. You know, I hid it from my family until about a week ago. You know, I was too scared to tell anyone. Anyways, I ended up telling my psychologist, and it didn't go too well. I feel like I didn't explain it well enough, and I felt a bit threatened with the way this certain psychologist ended up explaining to me what can happen if you don't start eating more. And I got really scared off. You know, I felt scared, and I felt like the stigma got the better of me, and I ended up, you know, I stopped seeing my psychologist, and I ended up just suffering in silence until about a week ago. And this is about a year since this happened. And anyways, so I spiral out. My eating gets worse and worse. I end up, you know, I study a diploma in mental health. I absolutely love mental health. You know, I'm an advocate for it. I'll stand by it till the day I die. I think it's such an important thing. I find it really hard to study. I find it really hard to concentrate. You know, my OCD comes back. I come off the medication. You know, I have really bad acne. You know, as a man, like, we've been taught you can't have these things. You know, you can't have acne. You can't share your feelings. You can't do any of these things. And it drove me nuts. It drove me absolutely nuts. And I ended up buying this watch which tracked my fitness, my calories, and I got absolutely to another level. You know, I couldn't let my mum make food for me anymore. You know, I couldn't go out, I couldn't eat with my friends, I couldn't go clubbing, I couldn't go to the pub, because I was so worried that if I ate this, you know, if I drank this beer, if I had oil in my cake, if I had this or that I was gonna gain this weight. And I was petrified, guys. Really, that I don't know how to just. If you've suffered with an eating disorder, when it's grabbing you by the throat, you can't describe it. You know, it's something else. And I start exercising more. You know, if I go over this calorie goal, I suffer myself. You know, I completely end up suffering because I'm just exercising. You know, I eat something, I have to go exercise. I eat something, I have to go exercise. You know. And like, it was getting to the point where I was so fatigued that even if I ate anything, I'd just have to go for a walk around the block. And I had this friend in my house, and he'd always see me walk around the block. And up until a week ago, I never told him why. And I always thought he must have thought it was the weirdest thing, just seeing this guy walk around the block at like midnight, like in a manic way, just like walking around the block. But like, really, I was just scared for my life, scared for this image that the media portrayed that I had to have. And it went way past that. You know, I'm still very skinny now, but I'm in active recovery, nourishing my body. You know, just finished a bowl of porridge and have some toast. And, you know, it's a rough thing. And I'm so happy I came out, and I ended up selling the watch. And, you know, it's still in the back of my mind. You know, people who have eating disorders, they can kick it fully. They can psychologically kick it as well. But I'm getting there. You know, it's still there. And when you memorize the calories to nearly everything you eat, it's so hard to look at something and just go, oh. It's so hard to look at something and not think of calories as the first thing. Instead of thinking it's a calorie, you should be thinking as the food, as fuel. You know, it's nourishment, you know, not as just a number that could harm you, when completely it's doing the opposite thing. But ED is such a brainwashing, manipulative, sorry, I can't say that word, but it's such a dark loophole that spirals out so slowly that when you're at the bottom, you look up and you go, how did I get here? And I did that 2 weeks ago. I looked up and I was like, how the hell did I let myself get here? You know. but there's nothing wrong with it, you know. But as a man, you know, you can't suffer, you can't talk about these things. But I've had it, and I want to share this story with you guys, and hope other men can come out, and I hope other people in the comments can discuss these things, because it kills people. This kills people, you know. And it's not just that it kills people; it's the fatigue, the depression, the anxiety, the deficiencies you get from being on an eating disorder, which can stunt your growth, which can harm you for years and years and years. And I'm so lucky that I was able to recognize it in the first year. You know, like it's such an important thing to be able to recognize it, and it's really hard, guys. It's not easy. You know, sorry, I find it really hard to talk about this, and I'm not really sure what else to touch on. But if you guys want to ask me any questions, you know, just tell me in the comments down below, of course. And I have an Instagram called Men's Anorexia, which I just started last week, and you know, so many people are supporting that. And if you guys can go follow that, that's where my journey is. You know, that's where I'm posting everything. It'd mean the world if you guys went and followed that, because that's my journey. Anyways, guys, if you could like, subscribe, share this, you know, we really got to break this stigma. You know, men can have mental health problems. We can have anxiety. We can have depression. We can suffer from eating disorders, you know. I'm tired of this. Anyways, thanks for watching.